The Dodgers sucking are literally making me break out so bad right now. Ooh, that's rough. Welcome into the Dodger Dan YouTube channel, where I will be bringing maybe less emotional hot takes than my instant reactions, but will still give you my thoughts on the Dodger games and overall how I'm feeling about the team. Baseball is a long season. It's really rough to try to go day by day with it, but that's just the kind of guy I am. So one day I might think we're winning the World Series. The next one I think we might lose the NL West. So that's what we're in for. And hope you enjoy the journey. Subscribe. Follow me on TikTok. Let's get it. So the Dodgers beat the Mets today to avoid getting swept. We still lost the series. It's our third consecutive series that we've lost. We lost to the Padres, the Nationals, and the Mets. And I mean, today was really good. Today was really, really good. It makes me feel a lot better about where we're headed. Or more generally, I guess, what I think this team can be, which is a very high-powered offense. And, you know, you can't expect 0 earned runs every time. But a pitcher like Glasnow, being the ace of our staff, bodes well for the future. So playoffs, I feel really good about what this team can be. But I still think this weekend we saw a lot of the same issues that have plagued us throughout the early part of the season that I'm not sure I see any signs or indicators that we're necessarily improving on that yet. And so there is still some concerns there. I think my biggest concern is our ability to get hits with runners in scoring position, which is a crazy thing to say because our team is so stacked. And you would think that with a lineup that includes Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Teoscar Hernandez, that we would be able to generate runs, but we have been so hot and cold, as I'm sure every Dodger fan right now can attest to. So it feels like we're pressing a little bit. I think the pressure of what this season is supposed to be and the team that we're supposed to be is maybe getting to us a little bit. Granted, I don't think many people chose us to win the World Series this year, probably just the lack of depth in our pitching and in our lineup. But I think from what we've seen, our expectation should be to be right up there with all of the other NL teams. It just hasn't been that way. And being a Dodger fan for my whole life, basically, we've definitely built up a little bit of an arrogance over the last 10 or so years, expecting NL West to be a minimum of what we can expect from a season. And this might be the season where we learn that that's not the case, that we might need to fight for a wild card spot, and that might ultimately be good for us. But it's definitely weird to be in this position after feeling like the NL West was a guarantee for so many years. And so we'll see. It's still very early. The NL West being a pretty weak division from a record perspective has been one of the big surprises in the first kind of 20 or so games of the season. I was not expecting the NL East to be so strong, as they look like it's going to be battle right to the end for who's going to get that division as well as those wild card spots. So back to the weekend. I thought, again, run production, man, Saturday was very frustrating. I think having bases loaded twice and not being able to come through on either of those opportunities is very, very disappointing. Something that, again, I just don't think can work or happen with our team. We got too much invested in this team to not be able to score with bases loaded situations. And I think we're going to have a lot of bases loaded situations with the way that Mookie, Shohei, and Freddie get on base. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for Will Smith and the order on down to get run production. And again, I don't know if it's the way we approach the at-bats or just bad luck overall, which is going to happen in baseball. That's been tough. So run production, overall hitting, not to specifically call these guys out because I do love them as Dodgers, but you know, Max and James, Gavin have been particularly bad. Really bad beginning of the season, a little bit better now, but it feels, and Chris Taylor, it just feels tough to have them get up there and feel like they're just going to be an automatic out. I don't know. I mean, you can't make that many changes at once. So if I had to target someone, it might be Max, just because defensively he is the biggest gap. But even that, I don't necessarily blame him because everyone's been struggling, kind of below Will Smith in that order. You can pick and choose who struggles, but everyone's been having kind of a rough time. And so I don't really know where we go to start. I don't know if we just trust in the aggregate that our bad stretch is happening at the beginning of the season, and that if we played the season out 1,000 times in a simulation, this would happen maybe in the middle or at the end. Who knows? But right now it feels really bad. And I want to see some improvement from our team from that perspective, whether it's changing up the lineup a little bit more, maybe have a different combination of players playing. I know the top four are not going to change with if Will Smith is playing, but I don't know. I think I really like today how we just decided, hey, let's put Glasnow in there. It might not be his normal start date, but with the way that this weekend series has gone, we need to stop the bleeding. That kind of mentality, I think, is what I respond well to. It just feels like we are being more aggressive, and I think that's what we need to do. So hopefully we'll see more of that moving forward. So yeah, I think offensively, that's where we're at. Defensively, it's been tough. Mookie committing errors 2 games in a row is obviously not the expectation out of him. He's a Gold Glove winner, but he's a Gold Glove winner in the outfield. And I was joking a little bit about Mookie. He should sue the Dodgers, but he is playing out of position, and it's not necessarily a slight on Mookie that he's struggling. I think it speaks to how good Major League Baseball players are, and that it is not as simple as plugging in a guy who, again, has the physical abilities to play that position, but high-level shortstop is going to be tough, even for the best, most athletic outfielders who maybe played shortstop growing up. But Mookie committing those errors, they did happen, and it is, to me, an indicator that it's always going to be a little bit rough throughout the season of feeling like we are good defensively. Max Muncy at third, not good defensively. Mookie at shortstop, not as good as he is in the outfield. Gavin Lux, he's been good. He's fine. Freddie, he's been fine. But nowhere across that diamond do you feel like shut down, lockdown, it'll be good. Even Justin Turner at third, I felt more confident in than I do with Max Muncy. And so I think defensively we're always going to be a little bit uncertain. Even James in center field, I'm not 100% confident in him. I think in our series against the Nationals, there was that play. Oh, wait, no, against San Diego, there was that play with Profar after the whole irrelevant game when he hits that bases clearing double. That's a play that Mookie Betts, if he's in center, is going to make. That's a play that Cody Bellinger so many times in center field made, and the fact that James couldn't come up with it, again, doesn't make me feel good. Fair or unfair, I don't know, but I think defensively we are just not that good of a team right now, and you pair that with poor production offensively, it's a recipe for disaster, and that's what we've kind of seen over the last 10 or so games where we've really struggled. And then thirdly, yeah, I mean, pitching for the Dodgers is always going to be a little bit of a mystery, I would say. Right now, I'll put most of it on the injuries, but that bullpen setup arm rotation right now is just not very good. Again, Joe Kelly, I love the guy, but his best days might be behind him. Vesia, I love him as well. His best days, or at least just mentally, he might not be there. I mean, today I saw Victor Gonzalez close the game out for the Yankees, and it was like a stab to the heart because I love Victor Gonzalez. I thought he was fantastic for the Dodgers, and I wish we still had him. Yeah, just seeing old Dodgers relief pitchers in new play. I mean, you got Mike White going to the Giants, but all jokes aside, right now, our arms coming out of that bullpen, I just don't feel confident in. I don't know if there's many moves we can make at the moment. Just injuries are destroying us right now, and you can only do so much. So we'll see what happens. But I'm hoping that today's offense was a sign of things to come. I don't think we can expect that kind of pitching production out of anyone except Glasnow right now. But Offensively, I think we should be able to expect a little bit closer to that than what we saw in the first couple of games of the series. Now, I think this matchup against the Nationals coming up this week is going to be a huge indicator of whether we are back on track or if we have bigger issues that still need being resolved. The Nationals are a surprisingly fantastic team. I think luckily we might miss out on that pitcher, I forget his name, that killed us and also pitched well today. But it's a very good lineup. They are very confident. They're playing really well. And I think our ability to respond and maybe take the series in their home field will be a good indicator of where we're at. So this is a big week for the Dodgers. We got 8 games left in this month. And ending on a high note, I think would be really, really important for us just moving forward. And so, yeah, again, happy with the win, disappointed in the series outcome, but I did see things today that we can be hopeful for. And so moving forward, let's all hope for the best. Let's go Dodgers. Let's go Blue. We got this. We got this.